Each year, we reimagine the same momentous day that we just read about in Matthew chapter 21. We imagine that we are in Jerusalem. The city is beginning to hum with an energy that always precedes Passover. Pilgrims are pouring in from all kinds of different places. Vendors are crowding the streets. The Roman soldiers posted on every corner are watching the crowd. And the city is already tense. And it is always tense at Passover because Passover is a feast about Israel's liberation. And liberation is exactly what Rome is in the business of preventing. And then something new is coming down from the Mount of Olives. Word passes through the crowd the way word always passes through a crowd, in fragments, half heard, then half invented, like the kids' game we play. It's a prophet from Galilee. It's the one who raised Lazarus. It's the son of David. It's the coming liberator. It's the Messiah. People are tearing branches from the trees and throwing their cloaks on the road. And someone begins to shout. And then everybody is shouting, Hosanna, Hosanna, save us. Blessed is the one who comes in the name of the Lord. And then they see him on a donkey. Not a war horse, not surrounded by an armed escort. He's sitting on a borrowed donkey, riding into the capital city of an occupied nation with a crowd of ragtag pilgrims and peasants waving branches around him like this is a coronation. And they find themselves asking a new question. What is this? What's exactly happening here? What is he going to do? Matthew tells us that when Jesus entered Jerusalem, the whole city was in turmoil. The Greek word he uses is seio, the same word used for an earthquake. The city was shaking, and the question shaking it was a what question. What is this guy going to do? It is a fair question. Because what Jesus is doing is either the bravest thing anyone has ever done, or it is by far the most reckless. He is riding directly into the seat of power that want him dead. The chief priests have already been plotting against him. Judas has already begun to calculate the price of a betrayal. And Jesus, he knows all of this. And instead, he arranges a donkey. He fulfills a prophecy. He deliberately fulfills Zechariah's ancient image of a king who comes not in conquest, but in humility and rides straight into the seat of power. What is he doing? Well, he is answering with his actions the question that his entire ministry has been raising. He is saying, this is the direction that love travels. Love does not protect itself. Love does not retreat to the safe distance of good intentions. Love rides towards the suffering, toward the broken city, toward the cross, if that is where the road leads, because love has decided that the destination matters more than the survival of the traveler. He is also doing something that his followers will not understand until much later. The crowd sees a king arriving and shouts for salvation. They are not wrong exactly, but they are imagining the wrong kind of salvation, the kind that drives out Rome and restores the throne of David, the kind that answers power with greater power. They do not yet know that the restoration and liberation Jesus is bringing require him to do things none of them are prepared to follow. This season of Lent has asked us good questions. Questions about our spiritual lives, our practices, our interior condition. But Palm Sunday asks us something different and harder. It does not ask us about our beliefs. It asks us about our direction. It asks, where are we headed? Because the crowd on Palm Sunday believed in Jesus for about a week. They shouted his praises on Sunday, and they were silent by Friday. The distance between Hosanna and crucify him is not as far as we would like to think. It can be traveled in 5 days by people who were entirely sincere when they waved the branches. So what happened? They were following a what? They were following their vision of what Jesus ought to do, what salvation ought to look like, what kind of king he ought to be. And when he turned out to be something other than what they expected, when he cleansed the temple instead of storming the praetorium, when he went to a love feast, a dinner party, instead of rallying an army, when he let himself be arrested without a fight, they had nothing left to hold on to. Their what had failed them. The question for us this morning is, have the things we have reimagined this Lenten season actually changed the direction we are walking? Belief that does not change behavior is not yet belief in the fullest sense. It's just agreement. And agreement is not the same thing as following. Jesus is on the road to Jerusalem, to the cross, to the worst the human beings can do to another one. And then beyond it is something no one has yet to imagine. The question is not whether you admire the journey. The question is whether we are willing to walk the same road. Here is what I want to leave with you as we move from this place into the fellowship hall to the table and the basin and the towel. The crowd on Palm Sunday was focused on the wrong question. What is this? It's close, but the city's deeper question, the one that will not be answered until a garden on Easter morning, is the one that Matthew records in verse 10. Who is this? And all week long, Jesus will be showing us in the upper room, breaking bread and washing feet, he will show us. In Gethsemane, praying until his sweat falls like blood, he will show us. On the cross, forgiving the ones who are killing him, he will show us. And in the silence of Holy Saturday, when hope itself seems to have been buried, we will wait for the answer that only Easter can give. So today, take up your branch, walk the road or the corridor. Do not look away from where it leads, and hold the question that is coming. Not what is this, but who is this?